My husband went on a guy's trip to Vegas and married someone else. He said it didn't mean anything, it wasn't even legal. So I made it legal. With a notarized annulment and a moving truck. Like, what do you even do when your husband goes on a so-called guy's trip to Vegas and casually comes back a whole married man? Y'all, I wish I was kidding. He said the trip was uneventful. I can't even make this up. So here's the deal. My name's not important, but what is important is that I've been married to Ryan for 2 years. Been together for 5. And for the longest time, I really believed I had the chill husband jackpot. Like he wasn't flashy or toxic or anything, just kind of goofy and laid back. The type who wears socks with sandals and calls every restaurant solid. His favorite drink is root beer. He builds IKEA furniture without screaming, and he always remembered to bring me fries, even when I said I wasn't hungry. That kind of guy. He played the long game, didn't rush into things. Said he wanted a real partnership, not a fairy tale. I ate that up, honestly. We met at a friend's housewarming. He was the one refilling people's drinks, petting the dog, making awkward dad jokes. Nothing about him screamed danger. But here's what they never tell you. Sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones who make you feel safe while they slowly rewire your reality. Anyway, everything seemed fine. Until it wasn't. Flashback to a few months ago, Ryan tells me he's going to Vegas for Eli's birthday. Eli's his best friend from college. Like, I know Eli. But I don't love Eli. He's the type who still uses YOLO unironically and once made a toast about crypto at our engagement dinner. But Ryan always swore Eli had a good heart. So I didn't fight it. I mean, they're grown men. They want to drink, gamble, eat questionable buffet shrimp, whatever. I trusted Ryan. Or let's say I wanted to trust him. He flew out Thursday, came back Monday afternoon. Walked into the apartment with airport fries and a souvenir snow globe that said, Viva Las Vegas, in glittery font. Handed it to me like he'd just been on a school field trip. I said, so? How was it? He kissed my cheek, opened the fridge, grabbed a Gatorade and said, meh, uneventful. Uneventful? That was his summary? No wild stories? No blackjack tales? No weird stuff like, Eli got too drunk and almost got kicked out? He was too casual, like someone who had practiced sounding normal. But I brushed it off. Told myself I was being paranoid, that not everyone wants to come back from Vegas with hangover stories and lost luggage. The whole week after, though, something felt off. He kept checking his phone when he thought I wasn't looking. Turned it face down constantly. Wouldn't let me near his backpack. And when I asked if he had any pictures from the trip, he said, nah, we weren't really on our phones. Liar. Ryan is the type to take a selfie with a hot dog if it has Vegas on the wrapper. The man takes pictures of clouds and sends them to our group chat with captions like vibes. But okay, maybe they were living in the moment, right? 3 days later, I get a random DM from a private account. No posts, 9 followers. I almost deleted it. But the message read, hey girl, I know this is weird, but I think you deserve to know. I served your husband and another woman at Lucky Star Chapel in Vegas. He said they were getting married. Kept calling her his bride. I didn't realize he was already married till I saw his ring on another post. I'm sorry if this is messy. I just felt sick not saying anything. And also he attached this photo. It was Ryan, in a tux, standing under one of those cheesy plastic arches with fake flowers, next to a blonde woman in a short white dress, the kind people buy on sale from Fashion Nova and call it couture. It didn't feel real. I thought maybe it was an old photo or Photoshop or some guy who looked like Ryan. I zoomed in and out, checked the tags. It was him. It was my husband. I forwarded the message to Lana, my best friend since high school, and texted, I need you to tell me I'm hallucinating. She FaceTimed me instantly. No makeup, bonnet on, straight panic mode. What the actual crap is going on? I showed her the photo, told her everything. She just kept blinking like her eyes were buffering. And then she goes, wait, is that the same chapel from that show on Netflix? The one with the Elvis officiant? I go, I don't care if it's officiated by Shrek. He got married. We both screamed. Like actually screamed. I started crying so hard I choked on my own spit. And still, some little desperate part of me whispered, maybe it's a prank. Maybe it's a joke. So I did what any unhinged woman with Wi-Fi would do. I stalked every tagged post from that chapel. Every bride. Every weekend tag. And I found it. A blurry boomerang of the same blonde woman tossing fake rose petals outside the chapel. Caption. Still can't believe I'm Mrs. D. Clinking glasses, ring and red heart emoji. Mrs. D? My last name. So now I've got the photo, I've got the DM from the waitress, I've got the boomerang of my husband's new wife tossing rose petals like it's some kind of low-budget rom-com finale. And I've got rage. Like the kind of rage that sits right behind your ribs like, hey girl, let's ruin a man today. But even then, I didn't blow up. Not yet. I needed more. So I wait. I dig. The next morning, while he's in the shower, I go through his wallet, which I haven't done in years. And what do I find? A crumpled receipt. From Lucky Star Weddings and Events. Date stamped for Saturday night. Package name? Forever Yours Chapel Special with photos and vows. I'm sorry. Vows? $149.99 for a fake wedding. And he couldn't even spring for the deluxe regret package? But here's the kicker. I flip it over and on the back in messy handwriting it says Mr. and Mrs. D with a heart. I stared at that heart like it was mocking me. Then I sat on our bed, and just held the receipt in one hand, my wedding ring in the other, and felt this wave of unreality. Like my whole marriage was a prop. Like I was the understudy to my own life. And I realized something. This man had no intention of telling me. Ever. He really thought he could come back, hand me a snow globe, and go right back to frozen pizzas and movie nights like he hadn't just fumbled the entire covenant of marriage in a chapel with plastic roses. That's when I knew. I had to confront him. So that night, I wait. He's on the couch, halfway through a bowl of popcorn, watching some documentary about people who live off the grid, which is hilarious because he should be off the grid right now, with no phone, no electricity, no access to the internet, where he's being soft-launched by a woman who isn't me. I sit across from him and go, "Hey, quick question." He doesn't even look away from the screen. "Yeah, babe." I slide the photo across the table. No words, just vibes. The second he sees it, his whole face shifts, like he just got caught stealing from a church donation box. You know that look? Guilt and panic and arrogance trying to pull themselves together at the same time? He stares for a solid 10 seconds. Then he laughs. Y'all, this man laughs. Like a short, nervous little chuckle. Like he's about to follow it up with "You're being dramatic" or "You got pranked." He goes, that one. I was like, "Excuse me?" I said, "What is this?" And he had the audacity, the straight-up Olympic-level audacity to say, "It wasn't even real." Okay. So you just accidentally put on a tuxedo, stood under a wedding arch, and posed with a random blonde in a white dress for the fun of it? He goes, "It was just a dumb thing." Till I dared me. You know how guys are. Yeah, Ryan. I also know how lawsuits are. And divorce papers. Shall I continue? I said, "You got fake married? For fun." He nods. "It's not legal or anything. It's just one of those Vegas things, like a tourist trap. It doesn't count." My voice was so calm it scared me. I said, "You didn't think to mention this?" And he shrugs. "I figured you'd freak out. I didn't want to make it a thing." "Bro, you married another woman and I'm the one making it a thing?" I asked, "Who is she?" He hesitated. Bad move. He goes, "Just someone Eli knew. She tagged along. We were drunk. It was nothing." I said, "But it was enough to post about." She literally called herself Mrs. D in front of a literal chapel sign. He winced. Not because he felt bad, but because he got caught. "I didn't sleep with her," he said, like that was some grand act of loyalty. So I just stared at him, this man I thought I knew, and said, "You think that's the bar? That you didn't cheat physically?" He leaned forward. "It wasn't real, babe. I swear. It was just for laughs." That moment, I swear I disassociated. I just floated above the room, looking down at myself thinking, is this how people end up on true crime podcasts? Instead of throwing something, which I really wanted to, I stood up, walked into the bedroom, locked the door, sat on the floor, and cried into a pillow like I was trying to muffle a fire alarm. My heart was racing so hard I thought I was gonna pass out. I kept hearing his voice behind the door like, "Babe, come on. Don't be like this. Don't be like this." I stayed in that room for hours. I didn't even sleep. Just sat there replaying everything. Our vows, our inside jokes, that time he danced with my grandma at our wedding and made her cry happy tears. Was any of it real? Or was I just a placeholder until he got bored? 3 a.m. I grabbed my phone and looked up annulment laws. Turns out you can legally annul a marriage under certain conditions, especially fraud or bigamy. So I started planning. Because if he wanted to play legal games, I'd beat him at it. So it's 3 a.m. I'm sitting on the bedroom floor in the same oversized hoodie I wore on our honeymoon flight. The one Ryan said made me look like a cozy burrito, and I'm Googling how to annul a marriage when your husband marries someone else in Vegas. Yeah, that's my life now. And it turns out, annulments are surprisingly straightforward when you've got evidence. Like, say, a receipt from a Vegas wedding chapel and multiple photos of your legally wedded husband cuddled up with his fake bride. The laws vary by state, but I called my cousin Mia, she's in law school and loves mess, and asked her to help me make sure I didn't miss anything. She was like, "Girl, send me everything. This is delicious." I swear she had papers pulled up faster than Ryan orders takeout. So that morning, I got up before he did. He was still asleep, mouth open, snoring like a freight train with a sinus infection. I took a long shower, put on real clothes, and stared at myself in the mirror. I felt weirdly clear, like something inside me had just shut off, and now it was business. So I made coffee, sat down with my laptop, and started putting together everything I needed. DM screenshots, photos, the chapel receipt, that tagged post from the fake bride and all that. Also, a copy of our real marriage license, the one that was supposed to mean something. And then I called a mobile notary. Yes, those exist. No, I didn't know until I was Googling how to annul a marriage while staying completely calm and sexy. She came by that afternoon. A sweet older woman named Margaret who brought her tiny dog in a stroller. She didn't ask questions, just smiled and said, "Let's get your paperwork in order, honey." We went over every page. She notarized the affidavit I wrote up detailing the situation. I added a written statement about the Vegas wedding and how I had proof Ryan was now publicly claiming a second wife. Then she looked at me, real soft, and said, "You deserve better than this. You know that, right?" Y'all, I nearly cried. But I didn't. I just nodded. Once she left, I filed the petition online, paid the fee, saved the confirmation number. Boom. First real step. But that wasn't enough. 'Cause even though I was done with him emotionally, physically, and spiritually, I still had to get him out. And that's when I made the next move. I called a moving company, told them I needed same week availability. Not for my stuff, for his. Every piece of man furniture, gaming console, and hoodie he left lying around was about to be packed up with zero fanfare. They had an opening for Saturday morning. Perfect. I spent the next 2 days boxing up his things. Labeled every box with thick black marker, Ryan's. I didn't go full waiting to exhale and set his clothes on fire in the yard. I just packed it neatly, quietly, like I was ghosting a roommate I never liked in the first place. I even taped the boxes in silence while watching true crime documentaries, like a little treat for my brain while I processed betrayal. On Thursday, I sat him down again. He looked wary, like he could feel the energy shift, like maybe he realized I wasn't yelling anymore because I was finished. I said, so I filed for an annulment. He blinked. Wait, seriously? I smiled. Yes, and it is legal. I had it notarized. I submitted the documentation. Should be official soon. He had the nerve to say, you're blowing this way out of proportion. Bro, you married someone else. He said, it was a joke. I didn't even remember her last name. Oh, I said, then you won't mind moving out. His face dropped. Wait, me? Yes, you. The moving truck will be here Saturday at 9 a.m. I boxed your stuff. Don't worry, I didn't touch your gaming PC. He started pacing. You're seriously kicking me out over this? No, babe. I'm kicking you out because you disrespected me, lied to me, humiliated me, and acted like I was the problem when you committed Vegas bigamy. He said, where am I supposed to go? I shrugged. Maybe check with your other wife? He didn't find that funny. He spent the next 2 days trying every trick in the book. He played sad, then angry, then nostalgic. Remember our trip to Tulum? Remember our first dance? Remember when we watched that meteor shower together and you said it felt like fate? Yeah, I remember. And I also remember how you came back from Vegas and tried to gaslight me into thinking your second wedding was no big deal. So no, I'm not melting. On Saturday, the truck came. The movers were so professional, they didn't even blink when I said, everything with Ryan on it goes. He stood there, arms crossed, watching them load his stuff. I handed him a manila envelope. Inside, a copy of the annulment filing, my notarized statement, and a post-it that said, this did mean something. Just not what you thought. Okay, so quick recap. Ryan's stuff is officially out, I filed for annulment, and I'm mentally spraying sage all over the apartment like I'm trying to exorcise the ghost of men who gaslight. But oh, we're not done yet. 'Cause naturally the group chat explodes. Not my group chat. Mine was already renamed Free at Last, fire emoji, and was full of supportive we hate him memes from my friends and my cousin Mia dropping legal updates like she's on Suits. No, I'm talking about his friend group, you know the ones, the poker night crew. The guys who still use Venmo emojis unironically and think bros before anything is a personality. Apparently, Ryan told them his version of the story, which, surprise surprise, left out the whole part where he fake married someone and tried to lie about it to his literal wife. According to him, I overreacted to a joke and acted like a psycho by kicking him out. He even told someone, and I quote, it was just a bit like a dare thing. People take stuff way too seriously these days. Babe, this isn't TikTok. This is marriage. Anyway, I get a text from his friend Nate. We've always been cool. He was the least annoying of the bunch. It's a little awkward, but he's got a good heart. Nate texts, hey, I don't want to get in the middle of anything, but did Ryan actually get married in Vegas? Like married? I sent back the photo. No caption. Just vibes. 10 minutes later, he replies, what the actual? Yup. Apparently, most of the group didn't even know about the chapel thing. Ryan told them it was just bars and gambling. Nothing serious. No wedding. No blonde girl. No commitment ceremony under fake ivy with a legally questionable officiant named Reverend Rick. So I let the truth simmer. Quietly. Just let it exist. But then came the DM. Not from the waitress this time. From the bride. Yup. Vegas Barbie herself slid into my inbox like she was entering a WWE ring in slow motion. Her profile pic? Duck lips. Heart filter. Champagne glass. Like you know the aesthetic. The message said, hey, so, I heard you're mad. I just wanted to say I didn't know he was married. He never said anything. And I feel like you're blaming me when I didn't even do anything wrong. Girl, I blinked at that message for a solid 5 minutes. Because the tone? The passive-aggressive victim energy? I took a breath. I didn't go off. I just said, you married a man you known for 2 days at a chapel known for Elvis impersonators and glitter carpet? I'm not blaming you, but I'm also not going to pretend you're blameless. She replied, so are you like jealous of her? Ma'am, I am her. Or I was. Anyway, you just borrowed the role without checking if the part was available. Then she doubled down. I mean, if you were really happy with him, why would he even do that? Like, no offense, but maybe you weren't giving what needed to be given. I had to go on a little walk before responding. Like an actual walk outside. I had to touch grass and avoid committing a virtual crime. I came back, typed one sentence. Tell that to the annulment papers. Blocked. Done. Good luck, Mrs. D. But here's where things get truly interesting. 2 days later, Nate messages me again. I think he lied to her too. She didn't even know he was married. He told her he was divorced. Excuse me? So this man went to Vegas, told some girl he was divorced, married her for funsies, and then came home to his real wife with a snow globe and a smile? I couldn't make this up if I tried. I asked Nate, do they still talk? He said, no clue, but I wouldn't be surprised if she dumped him. Words getting around. And that's when it hit me, Ryan was spiraling. I checked his socials. Private, of course. But his profile pic was still the two of us. Still, caption my favorite human with a heart. I laughed out loud. I updated mine too. Removed the wedding photos, replaced my bio with professional overreactor, and a link to a playlist called Songs to Leave Your Husband To. The likes? Immediate. Even people from work started DMing like, girl, are you okay? To which I responded, thriving, hydrated, legally single adjacent. Thanks for asking. And here's the twist, I got a Venmo request. From Ryan, for $28.73. The note, half of the snow globe and airport snacks. Y'all, I stared at it so long I thought my brain was buffering. I declined it, then blocked him. But I also screenshot it and posted it to my story with the caption, the audacity. Is this man okay? Spoiler, no, he is not okay. And me? I was starting to be. So where were we? Right, so I had just declined a $28 Venmo request from my ex-husband who got remarried for laughs, blocked him on everything, and posted it on my story like the petty phoenix rising from betrayal ashes that I am. That should have been the end, right? Wrong. 'Cause as it turns out, healing isn't linear. It's not like you cry, eat ice cream, get a haircut, and suddenly you're free. Sometimes healing looks like sobbing at 2 a.m. to a playlist called Songs That Make Me Feel Dramatic While Walking in the Rain. Sometimes it's rage cleaning your apartment while listening to Beyoncé. And sometimes it's inviting your best friend over for a literal cleansing ritual. Let me explain. It was Lana's idea, of course. She showed up with a bundle of sage, a playlist called Boy Bye, and a giant Target bag filled with candles, chocolate, face masks, and a pint of overpriced vegan ice cream that neither of us even liked. She goes, tonight we spiritually evict Ryan from this space. And honestly, I was down. We lit the sage, opened the windows, played breakup anthems, and went room by room saying stuff like, I release the energy of lies and tuxedo weddings. No more fake apologies or popcorn breath gaslighting. This closet is now mine. No man's hoodies shall remain. By the end of it, we were crying and laughing at the same time. That kind of weird, hysterical laughter that only comes from finally feeling light. I threw out the snow globe. I deleted every wedding photo from my cloud. I backed them up to a hidden folder first because memories. But still, progress. And I finally took off my wedding ring. It had been sitting on the bathroom counter for days. Just this little metal loop holding too much grief. But that night I picked it up, whispered, thank you for the lessons, and dropped it into a tiny box labeled dead weight. Then we drank wine and made a list. The Ryan detox checklist. Ring off. Socials scrubbed. Bedroom saged. Cry playlist exhausted. Divorce memes bookmarked. One petty but respectful finale planned? Not yet. Lana looked at me with that chaotic sparkle in her eye. She said, so what's the finale? And I knew exactly what it had to be. Because you know what's better than revenge? Closure. But like public closure. So we brainstormed. At first it was stuff like send him a glitter bomb or order him 30 pizzas from a fake number, but that felt juvenile. What I wanted, what I needed, was something that would be therapeutic for me, funny to the real ones, and just subtle enough that only the guilty would squirm. So I posted a little video. Just me, no caption, sitting at my vanity. I'm holding the snow globe. Yeah, I dug it back out for this. It's glittery, sparkly, harmless looking. Then I say, straight into the camera, this was a souvenir from a marriage that wasn't real, just like the man who gave it to me. But you know what is real? Annulment papers, empowerment, and knowing I'll never settle for less than I deserve again. I shake the globe. Glitter swirls. Fade to black. I paired it with the caption, what happens in Vegas gets legally undone. Y'all, the video took off. The people were DMing me like, who is this about? Friends from college messaged, tell me you're okay but also drop his link. Even my coworker Sharon, 58, 2 grandkids, huge into Pilates, sent me a clapping emoji and said, I love this for you. Didn't go viral or anything, but it hit enough corners of my circle that Ryan's phone must have been buzzing like a microwave with a fork inside. 'Cause 2 days later he emailed me. Yes, emailed. Like it was 2007 and he was sending an angry reply on Microsoft Outlook. The subject line? Hey, can we talk? I didn't open it, but I did screenshot it and send it to Lana with the caption, Sir, this isn't Gmail and Grace. Then I blocked his email. I felt done, like actually done. And the next week I did something I hadn't done in months. I slept through the night. Like deep, mouth open, drool on the pillow sleep. Kind of sleep that feels earned. So it's been a few weeks. I'm healing, I'm thriving, I'm sleeping through the night without dreaming of glittery chapels or emotionally unavailable men in tuxedos. Life's feeling soft again. And then I get a message request on Instagram. Again. I swear, at this point, every time I see message request, my soul flinches like a cat hearing a vacuum. But this one, it's from her. Vegas Barbie. The woman from the photo, the one he didn't sleep with, barely knew, and accidentally married on a dare. Yeah, her. Except this time, the tone was completely different. Her name's Emily, by the way. I learned that from her DM. She said, "Hey, I know I've probably been the last person you wanted to hear from, but if you're open to it, I think we need to talk." I didn't know the full story, but I do now. Y'all, my stomach dropped. I didn't answer right away. I sat there staring at my screen, wondering what the play was here. Was this a trap? A manipulation attempt? Another round of "are you just mad he picked me" vibes? But curiosity won. So I replied, "Okay, talk." She messaged back almost immediately and asked if we could hop on a quick call. I hesitated. I mean, calling the woman who married your husband during a blackout weekend in Vegas? That's peak plotline. But I agreed. We talked. For an hour and 40 minutes. And y'all, she was not who I expected. Emily was nervous, but she got right into it. She told me the whole thing, her version. And honestly, she got played too. According to her, she met Ryan at a bar that Friday night, the night before the wedding. He told her he was divorced. She said he was charming, funny, knew all the right things to say. He even told her he had a bad breakup and was just trying to feel something again. That something, apparently, was a wedding package with fake vows and souvenir photos. She swore she didn't know about me, said the second she found out from her own cousin who saw my video, she felt sick. She said, "I thought I was the only one." That sentence? Oof. That hit. She told me Ryan ghosted her about a week after they got back. Didn't answer texts. Unfollowed her. No explanation. And then she found out he was married. Still married. To me. She said, "I don't want him. I'm not here for drama. I just needed to tell you that you weren't crazy." And y'all? I cried. Not big, dramatic sobs. Just quiet, unexpected tears. 'Cause for weeks I'd been gaslit. Not just by Ryan but by the whole situation. People questioning how real it all was. If I took it too far. If I should have just forgiven him. Hearing the other woman say, "You weren't crazy," that unlocked something in me. We talked for a while longer. Compared timelines. Pieced it together like detectives solving a romantic crime scene. She told me about how he danced with her in the chapel. The same dumb twirl he used to do with me in our kitchen when we made pasta. She told me he called her M, which, guess what, was my nickname too. She asked, "Do you think he ever meant it? With either of us?" And I said, "Honestly, I think he only meant it when he was bored." And then she said something that will always stay with me. "I don't feel stupid for falling for him, but I'd feel stupid if I stayed fooled." Same girl. Same. We ended the call on good terms. No friendship. No bonding arc. Just two women with the same scars, walking away smarter. And that should have been the end. But Ryan? Nope. He wasn't done. 'Cause apparently he caught wind that Emily and I talked. And now he was spiraling. I got another email, this time from a brand new Gmail address. He must have made it after I blocked the old one. Subject: "You're making me look bad. Sir, that ship sailed, sunk, got resurrected by ghost pirates and sank again. He accused me of turning everyone against him. Said I was ruining his reputation and embarrassing him on purpose. Let's be clear, I didn't name him once. Didn't drop handles. Didn't tag. Didn't even use initials. But see, guilt has a way of outing itself." He ended the email with, "Hope it was worth it." So I replied once. Just once. I said, "It was." Every second. Blocked. Deleted. Goodbye forever. That email wasn't about saving face. It was about control. He hated that I told the story before he could rewrite it. But babe, if you wanted to control the narrative, you shouldn't have married someone else on vacation and called it a joke. So where does that leave us? Well, emotionally, I'm good. Really good. The annulment went through. Papers are signed. The name's legally mine again, mine alone. I went out last weekend with Lana, wore red lipstick, and danced like I was trying to erase the word wife from my memory with every step. And for the first time in a long time, I felt like me. I could stop here, right? Just fade out with a power walk into the sunset and let karma take the wheel. But nah. One last chapter. 'Cause life, my friends, is nothing if not dramatic to the end. Let's rewind just a little. About 2 weeks after that final email, I get a text from Lana. No words, just a screenshot. It's from Facebook, a post in a Vegas event group. Someone shared a blurry photo of a man being escorted out of a bar by security. Caption: "Anyone know this dude? He was crying about how his ex-wife ruined his life and got kicked out for trying to perform karaoke in a tux from 3 months ago." I zoomed in. Y'all, it was Ryan. Same tux. Disheveled, hair messy, clutching a microphone like it held the answers to his emotional stability. Lana texts me, "You can't write this crap." And honestly, she's right. 'Cause apparently Ryan had gone back to Vegas. Alone. And was telling strangers at a hotel bar about how his girl left him because of a misunderstanding. No bro. You don't get to call it a misunderstanding when there was a chapel involved. I didn't post anything. I didn't respond. I just laughed. 'Cause that's what this whole mess was in the end. A survival story. A reminder that sometimes the biggest betrayals come wrapped in normalcy. That the person you trust the most might be the one rehearsing excuses in another woman's ear while you're at home doing his laundry. And that when someone shows you who they are with matching tux photos and fumbled excuses, believe them. But let me be real for a second. I still had moments. Days where I missed the routine. Where I missed how his voice sounded when he'd say, "Love you, babe," from the kitchen. Where where I'd hear our song by accident and feel my throat tighten. 'Cause even when someone turns out to be a liar, the memories don't just delete themselves. You grieve them. Slowly. Silently. Layer by layer. But here's the thing that really helped. Owning the story. Telling it, laughing about it, crying through it, turning it into something instead of just letting it rot in the back of my brain like a forgotten leftover I was too scared to open. I made it a story. And you know what happened next? It resonated. People messaged me. Women, men, non-binary folks, strangers, co-workers. One girl from high school I hadn't spoken to in years messaged to say, "Your story made me leave my own Ryan." Another woman commented, "It's weird, but hearing you talk about it made me feel less alone. Like I wasn't dumb for falling for it too." And that made it worth it. 'Cause sometimes the best revenge isn't a glitter bomb or a viral takedown. Sometimes it's just living, thriving, turning the wreckage into art. So I kept sharing posts like, "Signed the annulment papers today. Wore red lipstick. Felt like a lawyer and a villain. 10 out of 10 experience." Or, "Every time I see a snow globe now I just whisper, never again." And the last one I posted, it was a photo of me holding a candle that said, "Self-Love Club." Caption, "He made it a joke. I made it legal. And now, I'm making it mine." And that was it. Lana and I still joke about it sometimes. We'll be out for brunch, and if someone even mentions Vegas, she goes, "Don't say that city's name in front of her. She's got wedding flashbacks." I just laugh because now it is funny. Now it's just part of the backstory. A weird chapter 1 flipped past and never looked back. So yeah, that's how my husband went on a guy's trip to Vegas, married someone else, came home like nothing happened and thought he could gaslight me into silence. But instead, I made it legal. I made it public. I made it art. Alright guys, I'm off to eat overpriced croissants with Lana, and maybe rewatch a rom-com where the man doesn't casually marry someone in Vegas and call it nothing. 'Cause honestly, I still believe in love. Just not the kind that needs receipts from a wedding chapel to prove it happened.